Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP or any of their athletes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the streets of Long Beach, where tonight the Grid Rival ESRA INDYCAR Series will take on one of the most legendary racetracks in all the world, and it is a street circuit here. Home to the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach for the NTT IndyCar Series. Tonight it'll be the stars and cars of the Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here this evening. Qualifications just getting underway out here in Long Beach. Let's pick up James Watson. He was very, very fast in practice, along with Eric Shouse. That's going to be the two drivers we would expect to see towards the top of the speed charts. "90210 already checking in, saying, life's a beach and then you drive. Yes, that is exactly right. Watson going to swing that car way wide on his first lap. Try to build up as much steam down the straightaway. At least as much steam as he possibly can here. Big shot down, shoreline drive towards the tight turn number one. Quick rip through two, and you're into the fountain section. Always a fantastic look through there. Getting the point standings loaded up here for the ESRA IndyCar Series presented by Grid Rival. Battle is tightening up at the front of the field. 3 Team Watson racing cars going to lead the way. Matt Wagner, J.W. Miller, and James Watson. Wagner sitting 14 points ahead of J.W. Miller, 29 ahead of James Watson. This is a huge opportunity for James Watson to try to make up some of this ground. He has gone purple almost every sector. New quick time, top of the board, James Watson. 68.764 seconds. Alec Coates, Lee Huber, the top 5 in points. Charles Teed, Vic Aldrich, Eric Shouse, Connor Baldwin, and Ty Richter will be the top 10. Team Watson Racing leading in the team point standings, but only by 9/10 of a point over Dark Horse Indy. Team Watson Racing, San Jose, and Grape are 3-4. Mediocre Motorsports and Team Ball Racing round out your championship contenders here. The battle for third is a pretty good one as well between Watson San Jose and Watson Grape. Watson a little bit slower in the first 2 sectors. He goes purple sector 3, however. See what we can do out of the hairpin. We can expect to see absolute carnage out of that corner, especially at the start. Second lap for Watson, a little bit better, 68.716 seconds. Now the question becomes, what can Eric Shouse do? As we'll pick him up down the back straightaway. He's going to do that same thing. Take the big wide swing. Shouse making his way down towards turn number 6. This is a sharp left-hand corner. Turn 7, barely a bend as you make the run up the hill towards turn number 8. Then you run down Seaside Way towards the second very tight complex here. Hard right-hand turn 9, looping turn number 10, which heads back to the left, and then into the hairpin. The question, can you still get inside the fountain? I'm not sure, actually. Navarre Luce actually got himself stuck in the catch fence and very, very close to going in the fountain. New quick time. What a lap by Eric Shouse. 108.312. 68.312 seconds around this Long Beach street circuit. My goodness, that was a fantastic lap. Picking up now with Matt Wagner. He is on his out lap. And Eric Shouse still has another lap in the books here. Let's see what he can do before we get around to follow Matt Wagner's qualifying run. Shouse goes purple, sector 2. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch here this evening. Second lap, how about 1/100th slower for Eric Shouse? Pick up Matt Wagner as he makes his way down towards turn number 1 on his first qualifying lap. Jason Hand putting in a lap of 1:15.46. Taking a look at the race director's notes after last week's race at Indianapolis. Big penalty of note here will be for Matt Wagner. Having that incident with Sebastian Kinder. Matt Wagner will have an EOL this week. Overcooks the entry to the hairpin. Qualifying still important. You still want to try to be up towards the front here because it does make a difference for where your pit stall is. Get you a little bit shorter of a run out of the pits. A little bit less time on the pit lane speed limiter. Theoretically, should be almost identical lap times, but obviously it doesn't always work out that way. Unless there's a massive pileup at turn number 1, we will not see a caution flag here this evening. 1 week ago at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of the best finishes we have ever seen here on the National Racing Network. Craig Forsyth getting the win at Indianapolis over Nick DeGroot by 24 thousandths of a second. A.J. Hobson coming home third, a quarter of a second back. Just absolutely insane racing. Mike Barry and Benjamin Combs rounding out the top 5. That race was a lot of fun. But we're going to get ready to do it again here as qualifying has concluded. It is time to go racing. We'll take a look here. Yeah, they're going to be doing the short grid here this evening. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's race as they get ready to head into turns 9 and 10. Eric Shouse and James Watson going to make up row number 1. Navarre Luce, J.W. Miller on row 2. Alec Coates, Craig Forsyth on row 3. Jeff Destino and Vic Aldrich on row number 4. Ty Richter, Gary Corley on row 5. Cullen Johnston, Jason Hand on row number 6. Matt Wagner and Lee Huber will have to start this race from the last row. Wagner not completing a lap in qualifications. So as we get ready to go here, let's see if we can sneak in a very quick word here with James Watson. And tell you what, James, 45 laps around here, you got a great starting position up at the front, but doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be easy to keep the car there.
No, the biggest thing about this track is nerves. It's so easy to get nervous, and it can do something stupid. The slightest little mistake, and your car is in pieces. So that's kind of the big difficulty, especially with having a good starting spot and finding a little bit of extra pace. I'm just trying to get myself calmed back down and try to end up with a good finish.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like it's going to be very tight between being a one-stop or a two-stop race. Not asking for secrets or strategies or anything here, but it's definitely going to come into play in a very big way.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see because I got a lot of conflicting information and reports from different people and from my own research, so I don't really know what everyone is going to be doing here. That's the fun part about this race.
All right, James, good luck tonight, brother. Thank you very much here. Field's going to make their way down through turn 10 into the hairpin. They should go single file through here and then double up very quickly at the exit of the hairpin. Eric Shouse doing a nice job of bringing the field down slow. And as always, race fans, the start of the Grid Rival IndyCar Series going to be all yours. One lap going to be very quickly in the books, and it will be Eric Shouse coming down to lead lap number 1 of 45. Early trouble for Cullen Johnston. Take a look and see what happened here towards the back of the pack. Get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay on this one.
Normally I like to do double duty, but
yeah,
I'm not really. Yeah,
I'll put you back where you belong there, James. Oh, Cullen just overshooting turn number 1. Jason Hand also having an issue. Sorry about that, James. Watson already 1 push of the push to pass. Every driver has 10 push to pass allocated for the race here this evening. Navarre Luce, J.W. Miller holding in tight on the back bumper and rear wing of Watson. Seeing Surf Gonzo checking in on Twitch. Well, our graphics package wants to be incredibly slow here this evening. Surf Gonzo saying, let's go Vic, get that podium. Alec Coates, Craig Forsyth putting on a fantastic battle here for 4th and 5th. Forsyth able to close back in, retake that 5th position into turn number 1. Interesting call by Matt Wagner. He elected to start from the pit lane here this evening. Obviously going to be well behind the race leaders, about 19 seconds right now. However, he didn't burn any fuel, even in that short little bit of a pace lap that they had there. $902-1 owned. Yeah, we'll put it up there. That's hilarious. James Watson had with the fastest lap of the race last time by 1 minute 9.51. Oh, trouble on the racetrack for Ty Richter. You can see the front wing gone. In fact, the whole right front side of that car absolutely junked. See what happened to Ty here down the front straightaway. He was running in the 7th position. Overcooked the entry to turn 1. Wow. That was a huge hit for Ty Richter. And unfortunately, he does have to take the tow back into the pit area. So race leader Eric Shouse coming down to complete lap number 4. The lead 1.5 seconds right now over James Watson. If you're Watson and you're trying to keep this just within striking distance of the leader while saving a bunch of fuel, this is exactly what he wants to see. Remember last season in the Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series here at Long Beach, William Reinhard absolutely jumped out to a monster lead in this race and basically carried that the rest of the way. It was sort of damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And it really made it a scenario where what everybody else did just absolutely did not matter whatsoever. I think Ericsson hit him. Oh, that's fantastic. This 2-3-4 battle is the best one on the racetrack right now. Watson, Luce, and Miller, especially Watson and Navarre Luce holding on to each other. J.W. Miller starting to claw his way back in just a little bit. The race lead up to 2 seconds for Eric Shouse. As we mentioned a little bit in the pre-race, this race going to have very, very interesting pit scenarios. You could, if it's a 2-stop race, you could theoretically stop very, very early in this race. You could stop even early, right now, as early as like lap number 6, and make it the rest of the way on fuel for a 2-stop race. Everybody with the exception of Craig Forsyth is on the alternate tire. You have to run both at some point during the race. What we were hearing is that the option tire may be the better choice purely because the primary was just so incredibly slow. However, some of the drivers felt the durability far outweighed running the reds for a full stint. So we may see I mean, some really kind of insane pit stop strategy stuff coming up here. Looking at the numbers, if it's going to be, the pit window is anywhere from 19 to 22 laps. Could be as early as lap number 7. Well, 7 complete laps. So, not this lap, but the next one. That could be when we start to see cars come into pit road to get off of the alternate tire and make this a 2-stop race. If you're in a situation, though, where you think you can make it the rest of the way on one stop, you're going to have to baby these alternates pretty big. That may be what we're seeing a little bit of out of Eric Shouse, because the gap has closed. It's down to about 1.5 seconds now from the 2 seconds it was previously. Only battle on the track right now is the fight between Navarre Luce and J.W. Miller. That gap sitting at right about 1/2 second. Watson's able to open his up to about 1.2 seconds. The gap to race leader Eric Shouse still sitting right above that 2-second mark. Back to James Watson. The fast lap for James Watson is 69.514 seconds, 101.919 miles per hour. Most of these drivers now sitting anywhere from 1:10 to 1:11. Last lap for race leader Eric Shouse, 70.582. That's 100.377 miles per hour. Pretty insane to average 100 miles an hour on the streets of anywhere. Jason Owens checking in. At least it's dry in Long Beach. Road Atlanta, it's extremely moist. Yes, you are getting the moist in a very big way down there, Jason. The rowboat races will be commencing here in just a little bit. The milk floats got to run all day on the racetrack. Craig Forsyth trying to catch up to Vic Aldrich. Seeing Forsyth had an issue here on the racetrack. Let's take a look and see what happened down towards turn number 1. Oh yeah, he overcooked it in a very big way. Barely got that car stopped before hitting the barriers. Seeing Lee Huber having an issue as well. Man, I'll bet you kind of the same thing here. The AlphaTauri of Lee Huber currently in the 8th position. He's your hard charger of the race to this point. Yeah, he had to bring that car almost to a stop to make turn 1. First pit stops of the race, and it's going to be Alec Coates. We'll follow Coates in here for his first stop at lap number 10. Coates hits the box cleanly for fresh Firestone primary tires. He's down and away 8.07 seconds. Full tank of Speedway Racing fuel. J.W. Miller made his first stop at lap number 8. So keeping an eye on where this could possibly put everybody in terms of the strategy calls here. Eric Shouse staying out on the racetrack. Trouble again for Ty Richter. J.W. Miller trying to come around Lee Huber, who had another issue out here on the track. Tough break there for Lee. James Watson now going to have to work on holding off Navarre Luce. Luce was down to 0.6 of a second just a corner ago. The gap now back up over 0.8 of a second. Uh, 90210 saying, so how long into the Daytona 500 until a pit crew fucks up the new center lug? That will happen on the first pit stop of the race. Somebody is going to strip that out. I guarantee it. Craig Forsyth coming around Vic Aldrich. That was a nice pass there. Unfortunately, we won't be able to show you the replay on it. Actually, yeah, yes, we can. Show you this one here into turn 10. Aldrich slides out wide. Forsyth comes through to the inside of the hairpin. And Navarre Luce not getting away from James Watson. Excuse me, Watson not getting away from Luce, I should say. Competition caution or stage break? Man, I don't know. I think they're just going to wad them up early. Plenty enough time for lots of stupidity, I'll say it that way. Jason Owens asking, did JW pit? Yes, he did. We covered that one. At least I wasn't one of the geniuses that deployed my tent in a drainage ditch. Yikes. Yeah, that's big smooth move of the weekend there. If you set up your camping spot at Road America in one of the drainage ditches. That actually is worthy of a you can't park there. Slide back a little bit here. Pick up J.W. Miller, who's rapidly closing in on Matt Wagner. Wagner obviously is on the don't stop till you had enough strategy of get to halfway. Jason Owens says, no way. I bet $100 no one strips it out. Drop it, maybe. But they'll just bring the IMSA crews over to train with the next-gen guys. You know, the difference is the speed, though. These pit stops are going to be faster. Significantly faster. That doesn't leave much time. I see it more likely to strip one out than drop it. Unless they go to the weird F1 style of center lug, where it's like it's not a typical hex nut. I'll say it that way. Miller comes around Wagner. He's going to pick up the 7th position. And that's a big blow to the strategy game that Matt Wagner's trying to play. As it is, he's still 40 seconds behind your race leader. We'll show you the gaps here. Wagner currently 42 seconds back. If he loses any more time, that spots that he's falling down the running order here. I can't believe I'm going to say this. We are 1/3 of the way in to this race, and we still have all 14 cars running at this point. A couple of cars are laps down here. Cullen Johnston, Gary Corley, Lee Huber, Ty Richter, all 1 lap down. Jason Hand is 3 laps down to the race leader. But right now, pretty impressive. Good run so far for these drivers here in the Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series. Have to say a huge thank you to the fine folks from Grid Rival for their support of the series. When do we see race leader Eric Shouse make his way down pit road? And do we see James Watson, Navarre Luce, any of these guys try to make an undercut? I would think the window for the undercut is about as open as it's going to get. Ty Richter clearing out of the way of Eric Shouse. That's going to put Richter 2 laps down. And at this point, no battles anywhere on the racetrack. Barely seeing James Watson coming into the shot here. Watson currently running in the 2nd position, 4 seconds behind your race leader. But again, we don't know what the strategy calls are going to look like here. Yes, danger zone. Our first Paul Tracy reference of the evening. Oh, no, it's not. 90210 saying a little bit earlier how he loved the player's livery on Craig Forsyth's car. Takes me back to the PT days. That's 2 Paul Tracy references. And not one Paul Tracy feet joke yet. That's kind of disappointing out here amongst the commenters. J.W. Miller just getting around Jeff Destino. He caught him really quick. Miller throws it down the inside at turn 9. Just commenting feet does not count as making the joke. Surf Gonzo, I was thinking more of Greg Moore in those colors. Yes. Just a few weeks on from 21 years, I guess, since Greg's passing. Man, I tell you what, at the time, in the moment, I absolutely hated Greg Moore. The kid was so damn good. He did absolutely incredible things with a race car. Wow. Okay, Danica Graham is the comment from Jason Owens. All right. Not quite, but I will say I was a big Danica Patrick fan, though, for the same reason that I hated Greg Moore. Her car control, watching her in Atlantics, oh my God, she was phenomenal. Then the branding people got a hold of her and turned her She went from a driver to a brand. Very, very unfortunate for the racing side of things, anyway. Vic Aldrich making his way out of the pits, getting his stop completed at lap number 18. So we're right about, well, we'll say danger zone time. "90210 says meeting her and her mother in regional Formula Ford, she was a cunt." I could see that. Not always known for her personality. And I guess dragging Tommy Kendall around by a leash here at Long Beach, a dog collar and a leash, was probably not the best idea. Race leader Eric Shouse is in. First stop of the race for race leader Eric Shouse. He could only make it to lap number 20. Watson and Luce staying out on the racetrack. We'll cover the stop here for Eric Shouse. See where he's going to come out. Looks like it's going to be right in the ballpark here of J.W. Miller. Actually, he's going to come out just ahead of J.W. Miller, it looks like. Yes, he will. Yes, that's so on brand for Kendall, Jason's saying here. Yes. Especially in the moment. That's when he was driving the chicken car around. That was absolutely on brand for Tommy Kendall. So we'll see when James Watson decides to come in here. Can he get... He's going to stay on the racetrack. He'll complete lap 22. Can he get 2 more laps of fuel? He's got to get past lap 23. Basically, he's got to stop at the completion of lap 23 if he's going to make this a one-stop race. Navarre Luce is in. He's making his way down pit road. Navarre Luce coming in at lap number 21. Craig Forsyth now up to the 2nd position. Eric Shouse coming past Luce as he makes his way out of the pits. That'll put Shouse back up into a podium position. Luce coming out just ahead of Gary Corley. Corley currently a lap plus down here. Follow James Watson out of the hairpin. Here he comes, lap number 22. This is the conclusion of lap 22. He's going to have to go one additional lap to make this a one-stop race. The biggest thing here is don't make the mistake. Hit your marks cleanly. Watson in the box, car up on the jacks. He will be down and away, 8.82 seconds. A little bit slower stop time for James Watson. Eric Shouse, new fast lap of the race, 68.62 seconds. 103.247 miles per hour. Watson rejoining the racetrack right behind lap car, I believe. Yeah, that was Cullen Johnson. Oh, man, Johnson smacks it into the fence, trying to get out of Watson's way. Johnson into the wall again. The gap to race leader Eric Shouse, 12.3 3 seconds. If James Watson can get 1 extra lap of fuel out of that race car, he could be in a position to win this thing. I don't see Eric Shouse getting 25 laps worth of fuel out of that car. The problems continue to pile up here for Cullen Johnston. Navarre Luce currently running 1.8 seconds behind James Watson. Navarre Luce, we think, is going to be able to get to about lap 42. It'll be lap 40 for Eric Shouse. Matt Wagner just in the pits now. This is another one. Matt Wagner can definitely make it the rest of the way. Wagner stopping at lap 23. Could starting from the pits be the answer to Matt Wagner winning this race? Let's put the poll up here. I mean, we can't actually put a poll up, but is it a bullshit call if Matt Wagner, who had an EOL, elects to start from the pits, thereby serving the EOL, but also not burning the fuel on the half a lap pace lap or so? Oh, trouble, big trouble for Navarre Luce. Take a look here on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, he just, wow. That's weird. That's like a sim rig issue almost. Luce bouncing it off the wall at turn 9 and has to take the toe back in. What a heartbreaker for Navarre Luce. So running back through the field here, Eric Shouse is your race leader. Currently holding a 9-second gap over J.W. Miller, who runs in the second position, just making his way down into turn number 1. We are just past the halfway point here. James Watson runs in third into the fountain, about 3 seconds or so back of J.W. Miller at this point, 12.5 back of your race leader. "90210 says, rest in pepperoni, an Italian proverb." All right, I'll give it to you. Alec Coates runs in the 4th position. Coates having stopped at lap number 10, trying to make the strategy call work here. Hearing some trouble here also for Jeff Destino. Attrition starting to become a factor here as Ty Richter makes his way onto the pit lane. Running in the 5th position, that absolutely gorgeous Forsyth Racing throwback colors here of the 72 with Craig Forsyth. He's carrying the 27 is actually up by the roll bar, but he is running the 72 tonight. The 27 piloting when Jacques Villeneuve won the Indianapolis 500 1995. Vic Aldrich running in the 6th position. Aldrich having a nice run so far, keeping the car clean, doing exactly what you need to do here at Long Beach. I forget, one of the drivers said in the pre-race, keep the car clean and you're going to get a top 6 or 7 finish out of it. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now out of Vic Aldrich. Matt Wagner runs in the 7th position. He is the hard charger of the race. J.W. Miller on pit road. We'll cover the pit stop here for Miller. So Miller's second stop coming at lap number 27. That will get him easily to the finish of this race. The question here, and I'm going to put this up on the screen. Hopefully this works. Let's see. Surf Gonzo asking, with the Andretti deal not going through, think an American could get snagged from GP2? I'm not sure which direction you're speaking of. Going to GP2? Or is there an American running in GP2 that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head here? J.W. Miller coming out in the 5th position. And actually, Jason, your reference to the player's car winning the Indy 505, that's actually what Craig Forsyth did a week ago, because we had a green-white checkered finish at the end. So we went exactly 2 laps over the distance. Oh, okay, so to race in F1, sorry. No, I do not see an American running in F1 anytime soon. Liberty Media wants one really, really bad. But no, I just don't see it. You're not going to see an American in F1 until it's a ride-by in a top-tier car. Think McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, that type of deal. There's no branding value in doing what Alex Rossi did and running a partial season in F1 in a back marker of a race car. 3rd place driver Alec Coates making his way down the pit road here at lap number 29. Again, that's going to get him to the finish, but looks like he's going to come out at a minimum behind Matt Wagner. Maybe not. Our calculator is doing some screwy stuff right now. Coates will come out behind Vic Aldrich, who just went screaming past down the straightaway. Here's where things get interesting for race leader Eric Shouse. He's currently sitting in a position where he would come out about 0.4 of a second ahead of J.W. Miller. It's now up to about a half second. However, if J.W. puts a couple of great corners together, things could get pretty tight here. Seeing Lee Huber having an issue. He has not had the kind of race he would have been hoping for here, out of the 9th position. Coming up next at the conclusion of this race, by the way, will be the Indy Pro 2000 Championship from Suzuka. May be fairly tight on time here. With with the clocks changing here in North America, it actually shifted the race slot of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship because the race only runs every other hour. So the 10:15 slot obviously is no longer available. It either becomes 9:15 or 11:15. They move it back to the 9:15 time slot. So we are going to be very tight, but we will go off air before that next stream comes online. If you're watching us on Twitch, don't go anywhere. Alec Coates getting around Vic Aldrich for the 5th position. Aldrich swings out wide in turn 10. Saw that. It's the second time tonight we've seen Aldrich make the wide move like that. Tell you what, discretion the better part of valor. That is for sure. Once again, keep the race car clean. So it looks like the go without stopping strategy here for Matt Wagner likely not going to pay off here, or at least starting from pit lane and trying to eke out the extra lap of fuel, because Wagner now sitting 1 minute and 4 seconds behind race leader Eric Shouse. Actually, the only two cars that really could make it work at this point would be Watson and Forsyth. Both of those cars stopping at lap number 22. But they need the extra lap of fuel, and they need Shouse to come into the pits. And it is tight. Looking at the time deltas, J.W. Miller has that down to 1/4 of a second. Ty Richter once again tearing the front half of that race car off. Seeing Navarre Luce having another issue, so unfortunately that's likely to be the end of the night for Navarre Luce, as he had to take the tow back into the pit area. Jeff Destino also having a bit of an issue. So since nobody answered my last question, we'll try another one. Do we think James Watson and Craig Forsyth can make the end of this thing on fuel? Oh, here we go. Sorry. Had an answer here from Jason Owens. It was flagged by the YouTubes. On the question of starting from pit lane to save fuel and make your number, Jason Owens says pit start to save fuel is not just bullshit, it's highly bullshit. Yeah, I tend to think so myself as well. It actually was an issue in the TNT Shock Series race on Tuesday night. That race, very similar to this one, it was very, very tight to if you could make it on one stop. Surf Gonzo checking in saying it could be close. Could be an exciting finish. Or it could be a Long Beach finish where the cars finish 14 seconds apart from each other as well. Speaking of 14 seconds back, that would be James Watson coming around Jeff Destino. Tell you what, great job as always by Connor Baldwin here on the cameras. I would imagine Watson's going to try to make this last to the end. The other car that's going to try will be Craig Forsyth. I'm almost surprised Watson didn't stay in behind Jeff Destino just a little bit longer. I mean, anywhere you can possibly get a draft, you want to take it. Craig Forsyth running in the third position. He's 22 seconds and change behind James Watson. 37 seconds back of the race leader. Jason Owens saying, I think they can make it. It's going to be close. Yeah, I think close is the very operative word here. The problem for Forsyth is he's getting really close to that danger zone of even if he can make it, he may not be able to win the race because Eric Shouse, when he makes his final pit stop, may have enough of a gap that he could come out basically right behind or just ahead of Craig Forsyth. That one's going to be tight. Here comes your race leader into the pit area. Final stop for Eric Shouse. Coming here at lap number 36. He should, and this is going to be tight, J.W. Miller may come out just ahead of Eric Shouse here. Shouse hit the marks cleanly. He's down and away, 8.07 seconds. And Craig Forsyth, he's coming into the shot right now. Shouse going to have to get those tires up to temperature very quickly because Craig Forsyth is coming in a hurry. He can see the adversary just ahead. The gap now up to 1.8 seconds. Would be an absolute shocker, though, for Craig Forsyth if he's able to make up that extra lap of fuel. It is going to be really, really tight. Jacques Debris laying in the middle of the racetrack there. Seeing possibly trouble for James Watson, your race leader. Big lockup. But that was it. So far, Watson still holding on to the race lead. Shouse is definitely cutting into the advantage, though. It's down to 19.8 seconds and shrinking rapidly. Watson in full fuel save mode. We'll have to get the true lap time comparison here between Watson and Shouse. Yeah, once again, Watson very slow out of the hairpin. This time by for Watson, 111.69. Lap time for Eric Shouse, 109.33. Oh, man, almost 2.5 seconds a lap faster than James Watson, but it may not be enough. The gap is down to 16.8 seconds here, and it'll be 5 to go next time by. At this point, I think Watson just needs to hit his marks. I would almost turn the relative off if you could. Don't worry about who's possibly coming behind you. Tell you what, though, Watson's on the button here, so he must think he's got a little bit of fuel left in reserve. Eric Shouse down to 4 activations of the push-to-pass remaining. James Watson still has 6 left in the bank, and Shouse is on one of them right now, down the front straightaway. The gap is 16.5 seconds with 5 to go. Man, this one could be tight. TJ McMurray checking in the comments saying, I definitely could have won this race with Watspin leading. Oh, man. Shouldn't give the kid too much of a hard time yet. Yet, that's the operative word. Closest battle on the racetrack right now going to be J.W. Miller trying to catch Craig Forsyth, but that's 2.25 seconds here separating those two. Miller going to be on the button. TJ saying he's a good road course, or great road course driver. I would have been wrecked out lap 2. Yeah, I don't last very long here in an Indy car either. However, I do, and actually maybe we'll do this. Oh, J.W. Miller got the wall. We'll see if that hurt the race car at all. He definitely smacked it, but so far, not a big time loss. Looking back up front with James Watson. Going to be 3 laps to go, this time by the start-finish line. Watson has wanted a win in the Grid Rival ESRA INDYCAR Series really, really bad. Eric Shouse down to his final activation of the push-to-pass. J.W. Miller also on the button as well. That gap sitting right about 1.5 seconds, though. So we'll stay here on James Watson at the front. The gap down to 13.7 seconds and shrinking rapidly. The big question is going to become, does Watson have to go to like map 8 on that final lap? And is he going to give up 8, 9, 10 seconds over that lap? Two to go for James Watson. Is there enough Speedway fuel in the number 39 to get to the finish? Or will it be Eric Shouse claiming another road course win? Man, Watson almost got it up into the wall at turn 3. James will be joining me in the booth for the IP2K race coming up from Suzuka. Last lap time, Watson, 1 minute 11 seconds, 1 minute 9 for Eric Shouse. The difference is Watson's was a low 111s, Shouse was almost 1 minute 10 seconds. He's not coming down pit road. White flag will go in the air for James Watson. Nail biter time right now. The gap's sitting at 11.5 seconds. Watson, so far so good. Halfway through the final lap, working through turns 6 and 7. Down into turn number 8. The gap sitting pat at right about 10.2 seconds. At this point, he just needs to baby the throttle. Make sure you have enough to get out of the hairpin. Watson is there. Down under the twin checkers, James Watson wins at Long Beach. Fantastic drive for James Watson, doing it on one stop. Eric Shouse going to come home second. Craig Forsyth, J.W. Miller very tight for third. But Miller will not get there. Craig Forsyth going to round out your podium here this evening. J.W. Miller comes home fourth, waiting on a couple of drivers to finish their final laps. What a drive from James Watson here tonight. That was absolutely spectacular. Fuel management to the nth degree, but he absolutely nailed it. Unfortunately, we're only going to have time for a winner's interview here this evening. Let's bring him into the booth. James Watson, congratulations. You are a Grid Rival ESRA IndyCar Series winner, and you're going to do it here in your home state at Long Beach.
Yeah! Oh my God. I'm in tears right now. Oh, you know as well, honestly, you know better than anyone how close I've been and how much it hurt all those times to be close to just come short. You know how much it would mess with me and how much it's like after Phoenix and Indy last season. So finally, after all these races, after all this hardship, all these close calls, to finally get it done. And to finally have a fuel strat work out in my favor.
Yeah, how tight were you? I mean, obviously you made it around on the cool-down lap, or at least most of the way before we brought you in. You nailed it, brother.
I still have half a gallon left. About halfway through the first stint, I was messing around with map 7 on the straight and then map 5 everywhere else. And then the last couple laps of the first run, I went to map 5 straight up and just kept it in map 5 the whole second run, did a couple laps in map 3 to try to get myself a little bit extra of a gap. But yeah, I was still lapping in the same times I was putting up pretty much in practice on the blacks.
Yeah, it was all in all, it was a very impressive drive, and it's a big points night for you as well here. You entered the night 29 points back of Matt Wagner. Wagner tonight finishing in 6th, J.W. Miller coming home 4th. It's not a huge swing, but it's enough to kind of start that momentum ball rolling as we pass the halfway point of the season.
Oh man, I can't start thinking about that, man, especially with the amount of competition I have. You know, JW is almost won the championship in season 1, and Matt's the reigning champion, so I can't really put myself in major contention yet. I'm just happy to get good finishes and finally get that monkey off my back. Of all the freaking IndyCar leagues I am in, finally to get that first win.
That's fantastic. The viewers at home, I'm sure, are enjoying this as well. But now we got to get ready for the Indy Pro 2000 booth. So grab yourself a nice cold something or other. I know you're not much of a drinker, so spray the champagne, and then we'll see you up here in the booth for the IP2Ks. Congratulations on getting your first Grid Rival IndyCar, ESRA IndyCar Series win. Who do you want to thank?
I gotta thank you first and foremost. You know, you've been my biggest partner for a long time, my broadcast partner, one of my closest friends out there. You know, you've helped me through a lot of the previous disappointments. So to get that win on an NRN broadcast and have you get to be able to witness it, that's awesome. Gotta thank Rocket Racing Setups. Used code Watson15 for 15% off. Martin Sports, ZAS Designs, and MTWR Landscaping.
All right, brother. Congratulations once again. We'll see you here in just a few minutes, and with that, we actually do need to get out of here. We got another race broadcast coming up here in just a couple of minutes. It will be the Indy Pro 2000 Series live from the Suzuka circuit. You do not want to miss that one. For Connor Baldwin, our camera designer extraordinaire and assistant producer, and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you hanging out with us. We will see you in just a few minutes live from Suzuka.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP or any of their athletes.